Air Canada flight attendants are taking part in what they call a mobilization at 4 major airports today ahead of a possible strike.
You'll see flight attendants in their uniforms standing in silence in support of their union.
So that's the mobilization I was just referring to. And this is happening at airports in Montreal, Toronto, Vancouver, and Calgary. More than 10,000 Air Canada flight attendants could go on strike as early as Saturday if a new agreement is not reached. The union says the two sides are still unable to find common ground on wages and unpaid hours. A representative says today's demonstrations will not impact any flights or Air Canada operations. This year's wildfire season is the second worst on record, renewing calls for a National Fire Administration and agency.
There's just too many fires. There's not enough resources. We call on help from around the world and from the Canadian Armed Forces. But we should be able to handle this on our own.
Fires are burning coast to coast. Calls like this are growing. The Canadian Interagency Forest Fire Centre is currently playing a critical role in coordinating resources between provinces. But many say more needs to be done. More resources need to be deployed during a surge. The federal government says work is underway to improve Canada's wildfire response capacity, including better coordination across jurisdictions.
Please know our hearts are with each and every one of you.
In Newfoundland and Labrador, the Kingston wildfire has now grown to more than 5,000 hectares. Premier John Hogan says some firefighting assets from other provinces have been cancelled. Some have been delayed. He also confirmed more damage to structures in a number of communities. Meanwhile, in BC, the Wesley Ridge wildfire in Vancouver Island had minimal growth, but still remains out of control. Experts expect hot and dry conditions this week to further compromise air quality in the area.
Surprisingly, I wasn't afraid, but it was a little ominous at first, like the planes, the helicopters, the smoke across the street.
In Ontario's cottage country, water bombers, you can see one here, battling a number of significant wildfires. 2 active fires in Kawartha Lakes are now considered under control, but a fire in Hastings County that started Saturday morning is burning out of control. Another fire north of Bobcaygeon near Burnt River started Saturday night. It has grown to at least 27 hectares, which is about the size of 50 football fields. And the hot and humid weather is in store for a number of areas this week, with heat warnings stretching across 7 provinces today.
As far as we can see, this is going to be the pattern that we see maybe right through to Labor Day.
Environment Canada is warning of an extended period of hot and humid weather this week across parts of BC, Nova Scotia, Newfoundland and Labrador, New Brunswick, PEI, and in Ontario and Quebec. Humidex values are expected to reach 40 degrees in some spots. Kelsey will tell us just how hot it will get and when the relief will happen. So we'll talk to her coming up about that. Thousands of people hit the streets in Montreal this weekend for the city's Pride Parade.
We are really happy to show our kids, different kinds of love and different kinds to be a human being.
This year's theme was Bloom Here, Bloom Now. But behind the celebrations, there were disagreements from groups that say Montreal Pride is not inclusive. A group called Wild Pride held its own separate parade on Sunday, criticizing Montreal's Pride stance on Israel and Gaza. Montreal Pride had originally excluded a Jewish LGBTQ2S+ organization from participating in the event, but after some pushback, reversed that decision. Another group of activists calling themselves Rad Pride held a parade Saturday night. Montreal police say after about 20 minutes, people started throwing objects. A garbage can was set on fire. Police then had to use tear gas to disperse the crowd. No arrests were made. Israel is defending its plan to take over Gaza City after being heavily criticized at an emergency meeting for the UN Security Council.
These are war crimes. And those who draw their maps in blood must not walk in the shadow of impunity.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says the, quote, best way to end the war in Gaza is to take control of Gaza City. He also pushed back against accusations Israel is starving people in Gaza. While facing criticism from a number of ambassadors on Sunday, the U.S. defended Israel, saying the U.S. has been working tirelessly to free hostages and end the war. Thousands of protesters have taken to the streets across Israel to oppose the plan over fears that it could endanger the lives of the remaining hostages in Gaza. A funeral was held this morning for a prominent Al Jazeera journalist who was killed along with 4 colleagues in an Israeli airstrike. Anas al-Sharif was one of the network's most recognizable faces in Gaza. He was killed by an airstrike in Gaza City on Sunday night. 7 people were killed in that strike. Advance polls for the by-election in the Alberta riding of Battle River Crowfoot close tonight.
I think that what he seems to be having right now in terms of a margin is huge, right? Like it's definitely big enough that even if some of the other candidates on the ballot manage to get somewhere, it's not going to be anything like a vote split or anything that would cause a problem for Poilievre.
Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre is hoping to regain a seat in Parliament by running there after more than 20 years representing an Ottawa area riding. He lost to a Liberal candidate in April's federal election. 214 people are running in this by-election, 214, which is the largest federal ballot in Canadian history. Voters must fill out their ballot instead of the standard list-style ballot. Election night, by the way, is August 18th. There were probably the last girls at the party. And by there, I meant they. The Beaches and Nelly Furtado shared the stage to sing a rendition of Furtado's Man-Eater song. This happened during a festival in Budapest late last week. Nelly Furtado also shared this side stage moment during the Beaches set. She called it Canadian Gold.